Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I've returned to the fucking land of the living here. I know I got a big giant hot spot coming out from behind my head here, and I'm framed up kind of weird. But I'm done one of these in a while, so like my whole setup is all fucking weird. I got like this. I got a stupid job, and it's stupid, and it was bumming me out, and like a whole bunch of other things happened. I don't know. I just like, but I'm getting my shit back together. We're gonna talk about movies now on the regular again. I should hope. Um, so I'm just throwing this one out here real quick, right? This fucking this little review because I guess like one of my 24 loyal fans out there was all kind of curious about what the fuck happened to my channel and stuff, and they hadn't seen. It was like an anonymous message on Tumblr. You know who you are. Oogly boo. But they hadn't seen Dogtooth, and they were a little afraid of it, and they wanted me to watch it and do a review, so they could know what the fuck was going on with it. Because I don't know. I guess my recommendation is essentially a guarantee, like that one guy from that show. But yeah, anyway, okay, Dogtooth by what the fuck is the guy's name? Yorgos Lanthimos, I think. It's his first like major feature film, 2009. Like a Greek production. I don't really know a whole lot about Greek cinema. Like, it's a thing. It's definitely cool, but I've just never really like delved too deeply into that whole like realm. The whole like Mediterranean. I probably should because Dogtooth is actually it's an awesome movie, right? It's really effective at what it's trying to do. You know, there's a lot of interesting use of like framing of the camera because it's like super weird because like you know normally I'm not like into this kind of visual style because it's like really minimalist but not like it's minimalist with what they do with the camera, so it's kind of like it's they're trying to do like the realist kind of perspective, I think, where it's like you kind of frame shit up in a way that looks natural and you fucking just put the camera up and like let it roll and have like the scene like play out, kind of like I don't know, maybe similar to like the Dogma '95 films or whatever, like all that Lars Van Trier shit. Like all those fucking people, which like it's a cool concept to do, but like I don't know, I'm not generally like a fan of that entire like mode. I'm more like excited about like formalist like cinema, where people just do like crazy shit and they make it look weird. They fucking use the camera to like tell an entire story, which is like yeah, Yorgo kind of does, man. Like a little bit because most of his framing's like real boring and shit, and everything's like naturalistic light, fucking diegetic music. Like there's not really very much of a soundtrack. It's like one or two like songs that are actually like playing on radios and shit like that when like in stuff that's like in the room. Coffee time. But so when he is trying to express something with like I don't know, like a different camera technique or like framing or like a reflection shot or something like that, it makes it makes like a lot more sense and it comes to the fore like really well. Like there are a few scenes where there are one or two scenes where like the framing just like changes, from it's kind of like a naturalistic kind of I wouldn't I'm not even gonna say documentary style, but it's just like it's almost like set up kind of like a lot of the scenes are set up kind of like just like a tableau or whatever, like you put the camera up, kind of frame it in the middle, fucking go to town with that, like it's just like it's a lawn. Not too many ways you can frame that because this whole thing, most of this movie like takes place in a house, right? But I'll get to that. I'll get to what it is in a minute because I don't know. Fucking Yorgo came up with like, I love this guy's first name, Yorgo Lanthimos, right? he sounds like a B movie villain, right? Yorgo. Like Torgo, like the guy from fucking Manos, The Hands of Fate. But okay, anyway. Um, so yeah, when they do something cool, like the camera with framing or with like the way something's lit, you know what I mean? Like the camera rarely moves or anything, but like so when something happens, it's obvious. You get the message about what's going on, like within the thing. Movie itself is like pretty much it's like this rich Greek dude and his family, and he makes his house a compound and he imprisons like his three children in there because like he just doesn't want them to go into the fucking outside world and fuck around and get bad habits and stuff. But they end up getting bad habits anyway because they're humans, right? So like he's got them like imprisoned in this house and they're like fucking like 20 at this point or whatever or older, you know. And they're fucking but they don't know anything. They're like super emotionally stunted and shit, and like they're being taught like the wrong words for things from like the outside world, like intentionally, like by their mother. And like he's importing some like weird fucking lady in for like his son to have sex with for like some weird thing and for whatever reason. Like I don't really know. Like they tell him all these like weird myths and shit like that about like the outside world. They have a fake brother who they think escaped and like lives on the other side of this fence, so they like throw him pieces of cake and shit all the time. It's real fucking strange and it's awesome. But there's a lot going on. There's like you can interpret this fucking thing like a number of ways. Like philosophically, you can go for the whole like fucking. It's definitely got like kind of almost like Gnostic overtones, right? Like their dad's like kind of a demiurge figure, like he created this whole thing and he's trying to keep people like real dumb and stuff, fucking like complacent. They don't want him to, he doesn't want him to figure out that there's like other cooler shit than like what goes on in this house, or like, and that he's actually like imprisoning him, being weird, and this is just like not the way shit's supposed to be, right? And fucking, or you could go like into like the whole cave wall metaphor about like if you're I don't know, was it Plato or fucking Socrates? I think it was Plato. Where like if you're in a cave and shit and you like look at a wall all the time, that you only see like shadows cast from something, like you assume that like, and there's like a guy who tells you what they are. You assume that the forms that you see are the like what they are, but they're actually casting a shadow from somewhere else, which kind of goes like back into like the whole like Gnostic thing, like the idea of like emanations and shit like that, which is pretty fucking awesome. I love it when I find like weird spooky shit like that in movies. It's very cool. But there's like a whole lot of other stuff. Like you could interpret it from like a societal kind of way, like the whole thing about like, I don't know. You could definitely like look into some like weird toxic masculinity, like coming from the dad. You know what I mean? If you're into that kind of shit, like like programming, like socially programming people to like think that they like need fucking like sex and stuff like that when you could just wank or whatever. But like, yeah, there's like just a whole bunch of weird fucking different ways you can like interpret shit, and it's awesome, right? Like at one point, I'm trying not to spoil too much because there's at least one person out there who wants to see this movie. I don't know if you should because I don't really know a whole lot about it. Because like at one point there's they find a cat in the backyard that just like got in there because they live in this like fucking like mansion like compound thing with a big wall around it. And the cat got back there and like none of these people have ever fucking seen a cat before. So they fucking freak out and they kill it with garden shears. Fucking intense, dude. It's so strange. Like, I don't think they really kill a cat, because they definitely cut away from the stab, and like the dead cat that they show later looks kind of fake, but it still bumps me out. Like, I'm a kitty guy. I don't like kitty violence. It's not great. But yeah, like they've never seen a cat before or heard of one, so they're just fucking wigged out and they're like hiding in the house. And this guy comes up, fucking stabs it with shears, and then their weird dad comes back, and tells him it's like the most dangerous creature that lives like on the other, like outside the house and shit. Like, and everyone's fucking terrified of him, and it eats children, and it fucking ended up like killing their imaginary brother and shit like that, who like escaped. You know? So it's just, it goes on with like weird shit like that, like a whole lot. Like there's this thing about like they keep seeing airplanes like fly overhead, and they're like they live real close to everything, you know, like in their little like domain, so they don't have any concept of just like diminishing perspective or anything like that. So the airplane looks like super tiny, so they just kind of assume that they're like real small, you know, like in real life, because like, you know, of course, shit that like as far away is tiny, right? But and like there's this whole thing with like her their fucking mom starts giving them like toy airplanes and shit, and they just kind of assume it was like the same thing was flying overhead, and they're like one fell in the garden and they fucking had it. Super weird shit like that. So I would recommend seeing this movie. It's pretty good, but you gotta be in the right motherfucking mood for it. You are gonna bum yourself out. Your life has to be going pretty fucking well to not be like just a little like grossed out or like weirded out by this fucking movie, because there's a lot of sex in it, but intentionally none of it's like sexy. You know what I mean? It's all like weird and like mechanical and shit like that, and nobody really wants to do any of it. You know, and there's like it's kind of like the lady that the dude's dad like hires to come and do him. Like, she might actually like be into girls because she's fucking like paying the guy's like sisters off with like headbands and fucking like videotapes and shit to like lick her off and stuff, which is that's spooky. Like emotionally fucking like stunted, like inexperienced people, and like you're giving them like little trinkets to fucking go down on you. It's a weird thing, and you're gonna feel gross about it. Like there's a whole other like thing with like videotapes in this, which is very cool. It's like a fucking like a weird theme. Like people, like they find some of their parents' porno that they left out, you know, and like they're kind of curious about that, and then like this fucking weird lady who like fucks the son for, you know, like money or whatever. She ends up like trading some videotapes to one of the daughters for head, and like she's not like they're not allowed to watch anything from the outside world, but she sees like Rocky and fucking Jaws, and just like freaks out. It's like brand new knowledge that's like coming out from other places. So there's another interpretation there about like the cinema and media, you know, and like potentially fucking like enlightening effects of that. Maybe, I guess it's there's a lot of things you can fucking pull out of this movie, and it's awesome. However, super gross. It's gonna make you feel gross, especially if you're disturbed by like stuff like incest, stuff like fucking like weird forms of like kind of sexual exploitation and prostitution and shit like that are kind of like not like really like defined, but just kind of there. You know what I mean? Or like, you know, if you're freaked out by things like, you know, being imprisoned, you know what I mean? Or like fucking there's some pretty serious violence in it, like at a few points there's violence against a cat, which bums me right the fuck out. I hate that shit, even though I don't think they actually killed the cat. It's a convincing dead cat statue but like, and I'm super used to like fucking like Amazon cannibal movies and shit where if like they want to kill an animal they just fucking do it, you know? So like anytime I see that in like a modern film, I'm like, man, did they really kill that fucking cat? Probably not, you know? So, but that's gonna bum you out, right? This whole movie is a fucking bummer. I feel real weird like from watching it, you know? But I wanted to fucking crack this out because shit, man, you get a request from somebody on the goddamn internet, you gotta fucking you gotta hit that back as soon as you can. You know what I mean? You gotta respond to your fucking fan base, which apparently I have. One motherfucking person. Awesome. Whatever. But you know, I'd give this, like I rate it highly, like as a film. It's effective at what it's trying to do. It's just it's gonna make you feel gross. You know what I mean? Which is the point, right? It's like definitely like maybe like some of the analysis of the film would be to like fucking like impart some kind of emotional like reaction like on the viewers, and you definitely get that. You definitely get in like the whole gross like mindset of what's going on. And there's like funny moments too. Like technically it's a dark comedy, but it's not the humor in it is not the kind of dark comedy that I really like respond to very well, because I just kind of like I do like my macabre shit and my dark comedy, but like not maybe not around like this level, you know. But yeah, it's pretty goddamn good. You gotta be in the right mood. You gotta be in the right mood for Dogtooth. You gotta be in a very analytical fucking mind frame, and I got mindset. And I got to admit that I kind of wasn't. Like while I was watching this, it was more like, oh, I've got to fucking watch Dogtooth for this fucking person, right? Yorgo, man, Yorgo Lanthimos. I haven't seen any of his other movies, but he's got one that came out recently called The Lobster, which I'm pretty excited about. It came out in 2015, I guess, and if I can track that down, I'm gonna watch that motherfucker, because it is apparently about like people who are forced to stay in a hotel. If they don't fall in love with somebody within 45 days, they get turned into lobsters. which is the kind of shit that I'd expect from this guy. It's people trapped in a location, probably some really weird, spooky mechanical sex, you know, shit like that. They got another one called The Alps, which is about mourning, or he's got another one called The Alps, which is about like the mourning process when people die. I haven't seen that one either. That one's on Dogtooth and The Alps, or fucking on the streaming service called fucking Fandor together, which is like an awesome website. My free trial's about to run out for that, so I gotta fucking cancel that, or actually pay like the $10 a month. I'll probably cancel it, honestly. I don't make that much money. But yeah, man, fucking check out this movie. Just be in the right mindset for it. Maybe have a few beers. I don't know. Fucking chill out a little bit. You know what I mean? If anything gross or depressing happens that day, it's gonna affect you in like a bad way. What's going on here? I'm getting a whole lot of text messages. I don't know why. But whatever, yeah. Check out Dogtooth. It's good times. Yeah, so as a final note, like I'm thinking about like making this kind of thing like a reoccurring, maybe like a playlist like on my channel. I don't know, like, so if anybody's interested in a movie, they fucking value my opinion about it, you know, but they're not sure if they actually want to like devote the time, or if it's gonna fucking freak them out too bad, you know, fucking just send me a message somehow, like Tumblr, fucking got a Twitter, you know, I got throw it in a comment like on one of my videos. Like I listen to all of it, so I'll watch that shit for you, and I'll make a little video of it if you want, or not, or whatever, because you know I'm definitely gonna pick this back up again. You know, pretty excited. I think I'm out of my slump. I'm out of my little funk. I can fucking actually like, you know, have fun with this again. So we're gonna fucking do that from now on. And I'm done. So, well, it wasn't too long. 18 minutes?